Have you ever been in a meeting, someone says something like, we need to actionize our core competencies to leverage our synergies, and you just nod, like you totally get it, but on the inside, you're completely lost? Yeah, we've all been there. Professional language can feel like it's designed to confuse us. But what if there was a secret decoder ring for all of it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
So let's start with a problem that I think everyone recognizes. I like to call it the grammar of absurdity. You know, it's that special kind of language that sounds super important and official, but the second you try to grab onto it, it just vanishes into thin air.
I mean, look at this. This is a real-world example. A consultant described a forest fire, a huge, terrifying, destructive event, as a rapid biothermal release. It's technically true, I guess, but it sucks all the meaning and reality out of the situation. It hides a total catastrophe behind this cold, clinical wall of jargon.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is this all just random word salad they're throwing at us? Or is there actually a method to the madness? What if there was a secret grammar to all this professional nonsense, a key that could unlock what they're really trying to say? Well, it turns out there is.
And the solution to this very modern problem comes from a place you would probably never, ever expect. We are about to unlock the code, and we're not going to use some new business framework or a fancy app. Nope, we're using a tool with surprisingly deep, ancient roots.
And that tool is called the 3E method. It sounds simple, and it is. It's a 3-step framework that's designed to just slice right through all the noise and get straight to the truth of what's being said.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. This is not some new idea cooked up in a business school. The 3E method actually comes from the ancient Tamil commentary tradition, which is called urai-marapu. For centuries, scholars used this exact structure to find the anvaya, which is basically the logical, common-sense meaning hidden inside of really complex poetry. We're just taking that brilliant ancient logic and aiming it right at modern corporate nonsense.
So, how does it actually work? Well, it all boils down to 3 key steps, and each step is marked by a specific Tamil word. Let's break down Enpatu, eṉavē, and Enravāru.
Okay, first up, Enpatu. The easiest way to think about this is like you're putting a big red circle around the piece of jargon. You're isolating it. You're holding it up to the light and saying, okay, this thing. This right here is the piece of nonsense we need to figure out. It creates a boundary around the buzzword so we can analyze it.
Next, you've got eṇavē. And honestly, this is the magic step. This is where the translation happens. The source material calls this the tainted confident. The person who leans in and whispers the real secret. eṇavē introduces what they call the buried ledger, the true and, let's be honest, often selfish reason behind the jargon. This is the part where you say, okay, what they really mean is...
And finally, we have Enravāru. Think of this as the mic drop. It's the concluding stamp that says, okay, translation complete. It delivers what's called the lesser moral, which is just the simple, decoded, no-fluff truth of the situation. It's the final and here's what's actually going on. Plain and simple. So we've got the 3 steps, but the real genius of this method is the core principle that makes it all work. It's all about this fundamental battle between what's real and what's just an idea, between reality and abstraction.
See, the method is so powerful because it shines a giant spotlight on the gap between concrete, tangible reality, things you can actually see and touch, and these vague, abstract corporate processes. This is called the contrast rule, and it is the engine that drives this whole decoding machine.
And this table illustrates it perfectly. On one side, you have words from Tamil that represent real, elemental things. Avani for earth, Neelam for ground, Vaughn for sky. Real stuff. On the other side, abstract Greek concepts you hear in business all the time. Kairos for opportunity, doxa for opinion, ratio for reason. Corporate jargon absolutely loves to live in that abstract world, and the 3E method is all about dragging it back down to earth.
All right, enough theory. Let's put this thing to the test. Let's take a corporate guru, a forest fire, and apply the 3E method to see how a clear translation just snaps into place.
Okay, so picture this. A guru is looking at a raging forest fire and calls it climate lag. Right. Step 1, Enpatu. We isolate the jargon. He calls it climate lag, Enpatu. Step 2, eṇavē. Let's reveal the real motive. eṇavē, what he's really doing is asking you to wait 30 years so his own failure isn't so painfully obvious right now. And finally, Step 3, Enravāru, for the simple truth. Enravāru, the environment is being saved, one PowerPoint presentation at a time. See? It just cuts right through it. Simple, direct, and brutally honest.
When you really start to use this method, it almost feels like you've unlocked a new superpower. And it's not just about winning an argument in a meeting. It's about reaching this deeper, clearer state of understanding.
The ultimate goal here is something the source material calls cognitive engrossment. Now, I know that's a fancy term, but it's just a way of saying you become so engaged, so locked in, that you can see right through all the confusing layers. It's about making that exclusive insider world of corporate speak totally transparent so anyone can see what's really going on.
So really, think of it like a journey. The 3E method takes you from level 1, where business feels like some cryptic play and you don't have the script, all the way to level 2, where you have the Konar guide, which is basically the official cheat sheet. It's a tool that empowers what the source calls the timid many, that's most of us, to see right through all the deception.
At the end of the day, this whole method is a powerful reminder that language is just a tool. It can be used to build bridges and create understanding, or it can be used to build walls and hide the truth. With a framework like this, you have a much better shot at knocking those walls down. So the question is, what will you choose to reveal?